Getting on a little late tonight, doing some recording in the studio, but want to make certain that everything is working first before we get going too quickly out there. And as of right now, some quiet conditions with little, if anything, in the way of rain possible for the immediate future. Coming to you again from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is, let me get the slate up here properly first before we go too far. Welcome to Weather Overtime. We should have been on a little bit earlier again, but we had some recordings going on in the studio, so I want to make certain that everybody is on board here before we go too far. This is our online video weather blog, giving you the opportunity to ask questions. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and drop a comment in the comments section. Say hello. Glad to have you along for the ride. We'll talk about the weather for the next couple of days, which does include some fairly hot conditions coming up as we go into Wednesday, peak of the week tomorrow. After that, some better news with the next several days. Numbers will be dropping a little bit on the temperature, so got some pretty good news overall as we go into the next several days. We'll talk about that again in just a little bit. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. If you haven't read the byline down here, if you'd like to get in contact with me, aonek@wdef.com. Love to have you along for the ride. Let's go ahead and hop on into things for right now and take a look and see what's going on across much of the area, which right now is thankfully not that much. We got some quiet conditions for the time being. Downtown Chattanooga, looking over the TVA building, the public library, Lookout Mountain, looking off to the southwest on the Bailey's heating and air camera. And again, for right now, a lot of steam heat out there, very much on the warm and muggy side. That's almost fog you're looking at, with plenty of moisture across much of the area. 2475 camera, again from the Tomahawk Crane and Rigging camera sponsors. Thank you very much for being our sponsor on there. Seeing again, not really again too much to worry about for tonight in the way of showers and thunderstorms. It is going to be possible that we see some activity coming our direction into the morning. The biggest problem is going to be the potential for anything involving rain and thunderstorms. The best potential for rain and thunderstorms will be in the afternoon and evening, but otherwise, again, could be some raindrops out there for the kids at the car rider line. We'll have the school day forecast for you coming up in just a little bit. Taking the camera and moving it around to see the Chattanooga Zoo grounds, I-24 traffic up on the ridge, and Holtzclaw Avenue traffic moving along pretty nicely at this time. So again, outside of the humidity, there's just really not that much going on. Let's take a look and see Chattanooga Theater Center for right now. Again, looking at the footbridge, which is under repair for the next year and 3 months roughly. You're looking off toward Raccoon Mountain in the distance, which beautiful sunset tonight, no question about that. Hopefully we'll get a time lapse going on that to take a look around there. Spinning the camera around, going across the Tennessee River from Coolidge Park at the bottom of your screen, and winding up taking a look around the area of the Tennessee River, the Veterans Memorial Bridge out there in the distance. So quite nice on the conditions for right now, if you just discount the humidity which is out there, and there's a lot of that for the time being. 81 degrees at the airport. Chattanooga dropped from the 90s to the mid-80s thanks to showers and thunderstorms, and we've got winds stirring things around a little bit, but not by much. And then we also have at this time dew point temperatures in nearly around 70 degrees. 60s is humid, almost uncomfortably so. Dew points in the 70-degree range and higher. That is what we used to call in Memphis air you can wear. So that is what we've got wound up for tonight, and not much better than that for tomorrow. Then some changes are going to be taking place. So if you are going to be doing anything out and about on the golf course tomorrow, excuse me, be prepared for the heat, the humidity. Extra sunshine out there may require the need of some ultraviolet radiation protection. And don't forget both the water. Make certain, again, you're going to stay decently hydrated out there. Thanks to my daughter for this Looney Tunes tanker. This thing comes in very handy, especially during these hot and very humid summer months out there. The good news at this time, it's hot, yes, but the heat advisories are staying well back to our west. There's really not much of anything going on where we are concerned. Now, back toward the mid-south earlier, there was some excessive heat warnings in effect. Not seeing that for tonight. Those are kind of cyclical. They go away with the daytime heat. That is for heat index temperatures around or over 110. The heat advisory is where the worst of the heat is and expected to be into tomorrow. That's where the heat index temperatures will be going above 105, and that came right up to the News 12 viewing area counties from Middle Tennessee, Northeast Alabama. There was nothing in the way of heat index temperatures for us of a dangerous nature, but we will be seeing again some hot conditions through the course of the next couple of days. So temperatures tonight, right before the top of the hour, 70s and 80s, not showing any 90s. Monteagle, which is usually one of our cooler spots, 83 degrees. That's one of the warm spots out there for tonight, followed by 82 in Langston and Scottsboro. So we've got a pretty good collection of some moderate temperatures out there. Not going to be seeing, again, anything coming up in the way of triple-digit heat, that is, in regular air temperature. Now, the heat index, yes, we may see some triple digits out there. No question about that as we go into the next day or so. Now, for tomorrow, again, doing anything outdoors, you're going to have to watch what goes on, especially with the kids going to school. That is where we will see temperatures mild and muggy. I'll call it warm because that's what it is, and there's going to be tons of humidity in the morning. So, again, partly cloudy, mostly sunny, and then looking at some very mild conditions with barely a breeze out there anytime soon. And then by dismissal time, pushing 90. If we get enough cloud cover to block out the sunshine, we may see some scattered showers and thunderstorms available out there. So for right now, that is going to be the worst of the worst, to where we could see the potential of some pretty steamy conditions. And as my wife, the teacher, was on car rider duty, that is, again, going to be a very steamy place to be tomorrow. So good luck to all the teachers out there enduring this heat in the car rider line as part of their duties. And as of right now, again, for the most part, we're looking again at not much changing anytime soon. So for right now, the potential is going to be for Aaron. We'll talk about that in a minute, swirling off the East Coast. We have one storm system knocking on our doorstep, and I'm going to take this map and go a little farther to the north, way up to the north. We've got a couple of systems trying to coalesce together here. This is going to be our next storm system coming in to the weekend. So we have storm system number 2, and then storm system number 1. This one is going to be, again, giving us the potential of some more rain into the next couple of days, and then temperatures taking a bit of a dip. Overall, looking at some very good news around here, to where we're not going to be seeing anything in the way of huge amounts of heat for a longer period of time. So very nice to be able to tell people about that. Minimum temperatures tonight, mid-60s to low 70s across much of the region, and then into tomorrow, unfortunately, right back to where we have been. Not seeing a lot of change with this anytime soon going on into tomorrow. But the days after that, this is where it gets really nice, to where we see the potential of some less hot days ahead as that 1-2 punch of those two storm systems move along and through here. That is where we see the potential of some much nicer conditions toward next week. The last few days of August, excuse me again, if we don't bounce back into the 90s and the hundreds, we may see, a fairly nice, unexpectedly, unseasonably, dare I say it, cool end to August. This is very rare for something like this to happen, but when it does, definitely want to enjoy it, because that is really going to help us out in the next few days. Now, here's the other problem we're looking at. We have the potential of a lot more rainfall. Again, doesn't take much when you have the ground that is already saturated. The ground itself, if the ground is dry when it rains, it's able to soak up a lot of that rainfall. Well, when you've had the rain like we did about a week ago tonight, when I-24 through parts of Chattanooga got flooded in that construction zone, that right there is, again, that was the worst case scenario. 60 cars in the deluge in that area. No deaths from the flooding, so good news on that, but it was still quite the evening out there, and all it takes is just a little bit of rainfall coming on through for the next couple of days. Now we go into, this is days 1 through 3, going through days 1 through 5. It's going to be a lot rainier out here, as you might expect with that hurricane out there, and then the potential of maybe another 2 to 3 inches into and around parts of the News 12 viewing area, North Georgia, western North Carolina, and back into and around the area of extreme eastern Tennessee. That is where we may see some more problems. And again, with the topography in these areas being very almost vertical in some locations, with that rain running off and into some of those mountain valleys, that is where we may see the potential of much more flash flooding coming on through. Now, the potential for flash flooding tonight, again, has diminished, but there is a potential moving in from that other storm system back to the north of us. That's storm system number 1. The threat for flash flooding overspreads the entire area again for tomorrow, and then it's a little less as we go into around Thursday, but there is still a risk, and that goes again through Friday and Saturday, so there will be that potential of flash flooding for parts of the area. Excuse me. I don't know what I've got, but allergies are causing a lot of misery here. So expect the possibility of more rainfall and expect the potential of flash flooding. No severe weather. Severe weather chances are very, very much on the low side. So things right now looking very good for no major amounts of severe weather coming on through, but there might be the potential again of some flash flooding. So remember, turn around, don't drown, find another way to get to where you're going. That right there is going to help to make certain you stay alive, because it could be the last decision you ever make. And no, I'm not kidding about that. So here's what we look at again for tonight. Island Cove Marina and Resort, the lights on Lake Chickamauga, showing again some very nice conditions, not too many people out and about on the waters for tonight. What we are going to see again is the potential for the next several days of more in the way of rainfall, and that marginal flash flood potential will be with us for the next several days, tonight and into around the next few days. Also, again, those chances of showers and thunderstorms possible here. But look here, this is the important thing about the forecast. Yes, we've got flash flooding potential here. Tomorrow, highs in the 90s. As we go into the next couple of days, temperatures in the mid to high 80s. This will be right about to just above normal. No record triple-digit temperatures out there, but then we see the mid-80s here. That, again, is just below normal for this time of the year. And then the next system moves through. That second one I showed you way up in Canada, this one is where we see an end of the rain, drier air, more sunshine, but then temperatures head into the lower 80s. That's about a full category below normal, which again at this time of the year is about 90 degrees. So we've got what looks, if it holds together, we've got a very nice break coming our way. So very good conditions out there into the beginning part of next week. Not immediately. It's going to be really steamy again tomorrow. So please keep that in mind if you're doing any outdoor activities. And then more potential of showers and thunderstorms into the weekend. But again, that is something to really for outdoor activities, you definitely want to pay attention to on that. So thanks to Island Cove Marina and Resort for sponsoring our EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network page here, which you can see all of our cameras at WDEF.com/weather if you'd like to join in. All right, let's take a look at the tropics real quick. Again, for right now, there's not much of anything going on in the Gulf of Mexico, but there is, of course, as you may have heard, a very large storm just east of the United States making its way toward us, but now it is starting to curve back toward the north. Over the next several days, we'll be seeing possibly, again, staying around a Category 2. That's, again, winds of about 105, 110 plus miles per hour, curving along and parallel to the east coast of the United States and maintaining its strength right on in through Friday morning. This, again, if it's not going to impact the United States, why are we talking about it so much? Well, we'll show you that in just a second, so stay tuned. Now, this goes all the way out into the northern Atlantic, Category 1 by Sunday morning. Tropical storm, leftover storm around Monday morning sunrise. Winds of about 60 miles per hour or so, but right now it is still a strong Category 2 hurricane as it makes its way up and along the East Coast. It is not, according to the best computer models we've got, it is not going to be a direct strike. We do, on the other hand, have tropical storm watches and tropical storm warnings in effect. The warnings are in effect for the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The watch, where again tropical storm conditions may be possible within 36 hours plus. This shows again from Maryland, the Delmarva Peninsula across Chesapeake Bay, the coastline, Virginia Beach, and down, excuse me, sorry about that, into and around the area. The worst conditions are going to be expected here. This means the tropical storm conditions, winds of 39 to 72, 73 miles per hour may be possible in the near future. That's the part of the country that's going to stick farthest out and catch portions of that part of the storm. Now, this does not mean that this is going to undergo a direct hurricane strike. None of the models at this time are showing that. But if you are heading to the coastal areas, anything from Georgia, South Carolina, all the way up the coastline to New England, may not be the best weekend for a beach vacation. And here's why. We again have those tropical storm watches out there. The water that gets shoved up toward the beach, the waves has to go someplace, and sometimes they drain away very quickly. Those are called rip currents, and those things can pull you out about a mile or two into the ocean, and if you try to swim against that, you're going to lose badly. So you need to know how to, as it said, break the grip of the rip. So this will not be a great time to go into the ocean because of what it looks like over the next few days. And here's the problem with that. We have, again, these great models that can tell us a lot about what's going on. This particular model, color-coded to show you in feet, wave height, the worst of which is going to be right underneath the center of the storm as that area of low pressure makes its way along and stirs up the air around that. That also creates a bulge of water underneath, and that's where the storm surge comes from, and that is something you totally want to avoid. That's the main killer in storms like this. Not the winds, not the lightning, not the tornadoes, but the storm surge will get to 20, 30 feet or more. That also, again, this storm is sending out waves of energy into the atmosphere that can be felt by seismographs. It's really incredible to see the amount of energy that this system has. We're going to watch this system send waves out into the next several days, and that again goes from tonight as it curves up along the coast. Notice right through here that the highest wavelengths in that bright and dark red are going to hug the Carolina coast right on up through New England, the tri-state area, Chesapeake Bay, right in that location. We could be looking at 10 to 20 feet waves along the coast of the United States. We're not looking at a direct impact out of this. We are looking at the potential of wave action, causing, again, a lot of problems into around the course of the next couple of days. Now, after that, it diminishes very quickly, and the storm heads up into the colder waters and diminishes, and it's not that much of a threat. But either way, definitely a time to make certain that you are prepared for this system as it gets a little bit closer to the area. What did I do with it? Well, it was here. Okay, here we go. We do have one tracking storm system plane, a hurricane hunter that has been inside going through its regular patterns over the last couple of hours and is now in the northeast quadrant of the storm, very much on the stronger side portion of the storm up here. This is, again, a reconnaissance mission. This is normal. This is what your tax dollars pay for, to study these storms and help us learn more about them. So for everybody out there with a certain project who says that NOAA must be stopped, NOAA must be disbanded, NOAA must be broken up because they talk about climate change too much, you're wrong and you're backwards, okay? That is one of the worst things I've ever heard. NOAA does a great job sharing this information, studying it, finding out more about what these things mean, and these hurricane hunter crews and planes are part of what our tax dollars pay for to keep us safer. So when a certain project tells you that that National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration should be broken up because they just talk about climate change, nothing could be further from the truth. So again, I'm glad to see these brave souls flying these planes into and through these storms so we can find out more about what goes on. And this is important so that we can see again what is happening with these storms as they make their way close to us. That is why we can confidently say that this storm is going along this particular path and will follow this particular path, because we've studied the atmosphere over hundreds of years, and we use science and technology and engineering to find out more about how this stuff happens and how we can protect ourselves from it. If you belong to that certain project with a year after it, you need to stop persecuting NOAA. You need to stop it immediately, and you need to look and see what is important. And hurting NOAA, in diminishing NOAA, you are hurting the citizens of the United States, and you are diminishing our capacity to keep people safe. That's the bald-faced truth of everything regarding what is going on, trying to kill off NOAA, which is, again, one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of on there. Anyway, as of right now, again, Aaron, not a threat to the United States. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this into the course of the next few days, so definitely want to stay tuned again for more on that. Getting very close up tonight with a cicada. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Deborah Donovan from Dalton, for our Clay Kistner paving and seal coating picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see what you're seeing out there. Go ahead and send those in to us by email, drop them to social media, or again, go to our main weather window headquarters section at wdef.com/photos. Would love to have you along for the ride if you would like to take a look and see about that. Our roofquotes.com weather poll question of the day. One of my favorite artists, John Hyatt, his 11th studio album, Perfectly Good Guitar, had the single Loving a What? Tornado, hurricane, or blizzard? And 84% of you picked the right answer, Loving a Hurricane. That's our roofquotes.com weather poll question of the day. If you'd like to vote in any of our other panel polls out there, please do so. Go take a look and see at wdef.com/vote now. And we'd love to see what your opinion is on what we have to offer and ask you about there. News, sports, let's chat, all that is available. Out and about in the great outdoors tomorrow, again, hot and steamy, so please use caution if you're going to be doing anything outdoors, camping, boating, fishing, or just going outdoors for the car rider line at school. That is where you're going to want to make certain you've got the water ready to go to rehydrate yourself, the sunblock if you're going to be outdoors for longer periods of time. Definitely want to take very good caution on that. And again, please remember, turn around, don't drown. Don't drive through water-covered roadways. You don't know how deep it is. You don't know how fast that water's moving. And you don't even know if the roadway has been washed away. We saw proof of that last week. News 12's reporter Nick Hill showed you the pavement, the asphalt that had been scoured away in the area of I-24. About a 10-foot section pavement had been lifted up by the force of the water and shoved downstream, creating a large kind of almost sinkhole out there. These systems can do some very powerful things, and again, being prepared for them is the best thing we can do to help you with here. So again, please use caution, common sense out there. Pay attention to what's going on with the weather. We'll help you do that here at News 12, so definitely want to stay tuned again for more on that. Thanking our unofficial sponsor, Chloe's Giant Cookies, from back in Germantown, Tennessee. If you haven't ordered one yet, you really need to. The Tipsy George is one of my favorites. She's always looking for new flavors. She just created, I think it was a strawberry cheesecake one. And if you haven't seen these cookies, they're about yay big, about the size of a compact disc, but they're about as thick as your wrist, and they are delicious. So if you have the chance, order up. They'll be doing a refill stock sign soon. She's on Instagram. She's all over the place. She does a great job. Chloe of Chloe's Giant Cookies was my former producer at our last station in Memphis. She got treated really unfairly there by the management, and that right there is one good reason to go support a survivor of the news business. So take a look at Chloe's Giant Cookies. Grab yourself some very yummy cookies that are good for coffee break or a special treat for the kids. They're delicious. I cannot recommend them enough. Very good stuff to be able to take a look at there. Again, for tonight, things are decently quiet, and again, hopefully will remain that way. No severe weather. Flash flooding possible, but not a guarantee for tonight. But definitely want to make certain you're staying weather aware. Chip Chapman will have your forecast coming up bright and early on peak of the week Wednesday morning. Again, questions, concerns, ideas, anything you want to complain about, if you absolutely have to, drop by WDEF.com and find our website. Again, our forecast at WDEF.com/weather. My email address at Onek@WDEF.com if you'd like to drop me a line on there. If there's something on weather overtime you'd like to see, I would love to bring it to you, but my psychic powers are a little bit below normal at this point. So if you would like to, drop me a line and let me know. We would love to have you coming back for this, our online exclusive video weather blog. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll have more coming up a little bit later on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime on Tuesday, August 19th. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online.